Hey, greetings everyone. Glee Khan here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. And, man, it's been a while, but we are finally dipping back into some Chronicles. It's been quite some time. So if you forgot, we were on the third volume of Chronicles. I think we're in the second chapter. I'd have to double check. I don't fully remember. But we left off with the fall of Silvermoon, and we had that in game 2 where Sylvanas was raised as a banshee. They didn't touch on that in the Sylvanas novel, but I just think they don't. I think it jumps forward to the Frozen Throne expansion, and then how her campaign goes with that. So we won't come back to that novel for a while, but I don't know what this one's going to be about. So stay a while and listen to the flight to Kalimdor. Who's flighting there? I don't know. Okay, with the Scourge approaching Dalaran, Archmage Antonidas and the Kirin Tor readied themselves for battle. So that's probably where we're going to go next in the game. Now they're going to, in our Warcraft 3, we're probably going to start making our way down to Dalaran. They evacuated most of the city's civilians, leaving behind only a small resistance force. Though these defenders were few, they were some of the greatest magi in the world. Great. So we expect to get like tons of magic showered on our heads. Not only that, but Dalaran itself was a weapon. Magic coursed through the streets and arcane barriers blanketed the city. Many of these wards would destroy any undead that touched them. Boo. Despite these preparations, a sense of impending doom fell over Dalaran. The Scourge had brought Lordaeron to its knees. They had ripped out the heart of Quel'Thalas. These two nations were perhaps the mightiest in the Eastern Kingdoms, perhaps the mightiest in the entire world. If they had fallen so easily, what hope did Dalaran have? This question plagued Antonidas. His thoughts turned to the hooded figure who had urged him to flee from the Eastern Kingdom. Antonidas now realized that this stranger was no madman. He had been right all along. It was too late for Antonidas to go west. As the Kirin Tor's leader, he could not abandon Dalaran. Protecting the city and its vaults of Arcana was his duty. However, there was someone who could act on the stranger's advice and save innocent lives. Jaina Proudmoore. The sorceress was initially hesitant to leave. She wanted to stay by Antonidas' side and defend Dalaran. She also wanted to see what had become of Arthas. Jaina sensed the Death Knight among the approaching Scourge. She still wrestled with guilt about abandoning him at Stratholme, and she wondered if there was some way to save him. It was only after much debate that Jaina relented. She understood, just as Antonidas did, that the city could not hold out against the Scourge. If she and the Archmage died, who would be left to heed the stranger's warning? The master and apprentice parted ways. Though neither of them said it, they both knew that this was the last time they would ever see each other. In the days to come, Jaina worked tirelessly to rally as many refugees as she could. Not everyone she met agreed to go with her, but many did. When she finally set sail for Kalimdor, her voice included members from nearly every Alliance race. Some were survivors from Lordaeron and Quel'Thalas, some were dwarves and gnomes from the Alliance military, and some were humans from Stromgarde, Kul-Tiras, and other nations in the region. Though they came from different places, they followed Jaina Proudmoore for the same reason. She represented something that had almost entirely vanished from the Eastern Kingdoms. She represented hope. So that's who flies to Kalimdor. So Jaina basically gathers up, as we finish the campaign here in the Eastern Kingdoms, these last few levels with the Scourge. She's gathering up whatever alliance she can and taking them across to Kalimdor, where the second half of the game is going to take place. All right, cool. So we got this episode in the pipe, 5x5, as always. I thank everybody so much for watching and for listening, and I will see you all next time on Lore of Warcraft.